Hey, this is Graffiti King talking about the Charles Bukowski brand experience. You may have heard of this gentleman. He was born during the Depression, came of age right before World War II, and became famous as a post beat or adjacent to the beat poet and author of several quasi fictional novels. Most important was Post Office, Ham on Rye, Factotum, and a couple others. But what he really became was a character. You see, he had been writing these poems, and they were good. They had a rawness to them, they were visceral, they were often very aggressive, and really very sad. It was about a busted life and trying to really muddle through without a lot of opportunity, with a lot of depression. But he spoke to a pretty large audience. But what happened was he got a newspaper column like Notes of a Dirty Old Man. And that's when he started to develop the persona, or really brand identity, as Charles Bukowski. And when he saw the reaction he got from the audience, it created a feedback loop where he sort of doubled down on being this cranky, irascible, drunk, abusive, etc. Right? I would say reading one or two of his books is instructive. It's an insight into a world that probably doesn't exist anymore. But so he did have facility with words. Ultimately, he created himself as a brand, and what it gave the customer was, if they were feeling beat up by life or depressed, or that people didn't understand them, or that the game was rigged, they could go and read some Bukowski and get that emotional feeling reinforced, right? And so my point here for marketers is that that is a real function of what we are doing. We are creating not just a product or a service or a channel, but we are creating an emotional anchor for our customers, for our audience. So you do want to put some thought into it. I don't think that he consciously said, hey, I'm going to be a famous bum, but the feedback loop became present. He did some readings and he was getting feedback from people. And so I do think that at some level, he did double down on that persona. And, ultimately it's kind of a sad story. He had a very abusive childhood and was addicted to alcohol. But again, he did have some talent as a wordsmith. He did chronicle a certain type of lifestyle, a certain segment of the population, and those people have nowhere else to go. Their experience is not chronicled. I would say there's no, that I know of, modern Bukowski who is chronicling the underclass, partially because that's not how our society is structured. It's structured to look at aerial views of Brad Pitt's vineyard, right? Or, people's jets and stuff. And that's a whole other series of messages. My point about Charles Bukowski, I personally have enjoyed some of his works, but I want you to think about it from the point of view of creating your brand and understanding that you're creating an emotional anchor for your customer. So you may want to put some thought into it, or, just be yourself. If you're a happy, bubbly person, like some of those YouTube kiddies that I watch with my younger child, that's great. That's actually pretty easy to do. But that is the mechanism. That's how we keep our audience engaged. That's how we get them to buy our goods and services, right? They want to be connected to us. So that's all for now. This is Graffiti King. Thank you for listening. Click on the link under the message to get one of our 5 business books currently available on Amazon. And we've got 2 great books on personal development that will help you understand that you are the only authority in your life and you can reassert the control that you were given at birth. Thanks again for listening. We'll talk soon.